Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, I'm out on the links at Salem Hills Golf Club, and I prepared chicken liver pate. It is delicious. But first, we head out to Farmer Casey's ranch with my friends from Purple Cat. Well, I'm sure you've driven down Route 422 in Coatesville, and you've seen Casey's farm here run by Purple Cat. And I've been meaning to stop for many years, and I finally got out here, and it's unbelievable what is out here. I mean, this is a menagerie of animals and gardening, and Jimmy, I just can't believe the activity going on out here.
Oh, thanks.
How many acres?
53 acres total.
And what was your vision, 10 years ago when you started this?
It really was my wife's vision. Jill P., she always says the best days of her life were spent at Camp Fitch, which have nothing to do with me. But she really had the vision of making it a camp. I think that that's in our future, having cabins and that kind of thing. But really, our immediate need was more of a day program for our adults, finding ways to pay our adults with disabilities. We both love animals. We have a lot of staff that love animals, but it was just a matter of learning, as you alluded to earlier, learning about them and what creatures we could get and, what creatures our folks would be safe around and taken care of.
So the alpacas are pretty safe?
Yes,
they're pretty
safe.
easygoing?
Oh, they are just, they're just so gentle. They're the gentlest creatures you'd ever want to meet.
Okay, so now, what is this?
This is a Bantam Silky. It looks like it has fur versus feathers. And she was a donation, and we haven't figured out, she was been picked on by her peers. So, there is the pecking order. There's the pecking order. And eventually she'll fall in somewhere along the lines, but we wanted to make sure because she's prized. She's pretty special, so
she's a beautiful bird.
Yeah, she's been a little, segregated here for a while.
And she lays eggs too?
Yes.
So there's a cross on Ray.
Yeah, both Blaze and Ray have it. They're father and son, so you can see it more evidently on Ray here. But you can see how it comes down over his shoulders and haunches there.
And the donkeys that bear this cross, they say, are descendants of the donkey that carried Jesus.
That's right. that's what they say. That if donkeys have, especially miniature donkeys, if they have the cross on their back, that they are descendants of the donkey that carried Jesus back in the day. So
now they also have the store.
That's right. The store is open now.
And a neighbor of mine brought this Purple Cat jalapeno jelly over, and over cream cheese.
It's a goat cheese. I've never tried goat cheese, and that's more of our theme here. So I got to hit that up.
I love it. This is a must-buy purchase. And then strawberries, turnips, all of this is grown on the property. I mean, my scapes aren't up yet, so I got a couple bundles of garlic scapes. And your strawberries are so sweet.
Well, thank you. We're partnering with Birdfish Brewery. We're going to grow lots of strawberries and blueberries for them. As much as we can grow, they want to purchase off of us.
And they're going to make a sour with it?
They're going to make a Purple Cat beer of some sort. But they also bought a lot of honey off of us too for their meads and for those types of things. So
they've really expanded.
And they've I don't know why, they have really adopted us, and anything we can produce for them, the better. They are all over us all the time. We already get we get spent grains from Noble Creature and from Birdfish.
To feed the animals.
Either to feed the animals or for our composting. Nothing composts better than those spent grains. I mean, they're literally smoking when we get them.
And then you have a woodworking shop.
Yeah, that was a donation from the Kellogg family. Dave Kellogg was his name. Dave passed away, and his passion was woodworking. And so he had all of this beautiful equipment, like top-of-the-line equipment. And he had written in his will that he didn't want to give that to the family. He was providing for them in other ways, but he wanted to find some organization that would use the woodworking. And so we received that.
So we've got two sitting on eggs right now, 2 of the female peacocks. And what's the hatch time?
5 weeks. I mean, so she's been on the close 3, you know, I don't know. It just depends. I don't know when she exactly started. I'd say 5-6 weeks is where we're looking at here. So.
And you might have 2 or 3 babies out of this.
That would be great. That would be great. We're looking for some females for the bachelors over here. We couldn't put the babies in with them, but hopefully that'll help. But you know, peacocks, you'd be surprised. You can find them. You know, they're not everywhere, but you can find them at different bird shows or, you know, markets.
I mean, they really are
like
beautiful, and I can't believe that they're good in the winter. You know,
yeah, they're fine in the winter. Yeah.
All right, Larry is the bee man, and Melissa and Pete are the queen and king bees. And this, how long is this operation? Have you had the bees out here?
We just started this last year, and it was a very successful year. We lost a few hives over the winter, but we're building back, and we should be up to full force here in another couple weeks.
So all the honey that is sold here in the store is from these hives?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing to do out here?
I just
Help with the bees.
Help with the bees.
My favorite thing is just being here.
The hoop house has the turnips that you saw earlier.
It does.
Purple beans. The strawberries are up there. And peppers. And this is where we get the pepper for that incredible pepper jelly.
Yeah, we grow a ton of peppers, yes.
And where did you get that recipe?
That's just good friends of ours. Our secret recipe, Meg P. and Mark Calvaruso, we call Calvi.
Yeah.
That was their, you know, his
Well,
Italian recipe that we've kind of pirated or they've shared with us, and so they help us still with it to this day with the production. They're vital to us.
Does this lake have a name?
No, we just our Farmer Casey's lake. But we get a lot of use. We fish just about every day. We boat on it. We try to
What
keep it
kind of fish are
clean.
in here?
We've been stocking it. Obviously, there's a lot of bluegill naturally, but we've been stocking it with bass and crappie. You know, the old model for working with adults with developmental disabilities was everybody has to be in one room, eyes on at all times. But there's dignity of risk. We all take risks in our lives.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, Richie Rich is a good example. He was unhappy being in a sheltered workshop where he was locked into a building. They said he had all kinds of, you know, behavioral issues. None here, you know, because he's outside. He's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah,
and
rambunctious. Some kids are more
sometimes we don't
restless.
know where he is because he's down in the barn, you know, working on a bike. But he's not into mischief. He's working on a bike, and that's what he wants to do. And you know, we're all adults. That's what we want in our days. We want to have productive days where we're in control of some things.
Exactly.
So we allow our folks, you know, a lot of that freedom here, which they don't get in a lot of different programs.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Summer means magic tree. Look at this patio. This is one of my favorite places to be on a summer night.
Casey, we have all the things going on here at the Magic Tree on our beautiful patio. We have the Saturday Summer Music Series, not to mention all the other goodies like our seasonal menu. Absolutely. That's our can of chips, our cedar plank salmon, and this is our Casey and the Sunshine Salad. How you like that? And then our seasonal drinks. That's our mermaid water, and it ain't no water, by the way. And this is our fresh blueberry mule.
Oh, that is beautiful. And I'm telling you, what is your slogan?
Come to the Magic Tree to eat, drink, and celebrate.
And I say repeat. Summertime is here. The living is easy. Get to the Magic Tree.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service, independent insurance agency. We work with several insurance companies to offer you choices for your insurance needs. We'll find the right product at the right price. Personal, business, farm, life, trust Mayflower Woolham. You focus on what's important, we'll take care of the details. Mayflower Woolham, close by with 3 locations to serve you.
Here at the Upstairs, we cater to everyone. When you come through the door, I treat you as though you're my friend. So there's all kinds of options here at the upstairs. There's something on that menu for everyone. Great food, friendly service, very clean restaurant. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of good restaurants in our community. So I always feel honored when someone comes here. I want everybody coming through that door to leave here with a good experience.
Open the Jewel Box, the Courthouse Inn, organic vegetarian comfort food, handcrafted cocktails, fine wine and beer, fresh baked cakes and pies. Recharge your senses at the Courthouse Spa. Dazzling dining, artfully prepared, locally sourced ingredients, spa services. The Courthouse Inn feels like a world away, just down the road in historic Lisbon, Ohio. $5 Burger Mondays at Sadie's Place, inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austintown.
Rulli Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. Find it all at Rulli Brothers, home of the famous Evening Express.
Today I am going to be Miss Fancy Pants and I'm going to prepare chicken liver pate. It sounds really exotic, it's a sexy thing to serve as an appetizer, and really it's reasonably priced. It's easy to make, and it is loaded with flavor. And if you're not a liver lover, you could change after you taste it. Yeah, it doesn't look really appetizing, but the flavors are wonderful, and you can customize them, you know, to what you like. If you don't like onion, add more garlic. If you don't like cognac, you can add bourbon, or you can add Scotch whiskey. I mean, there's a lot of variations, but I've tweaked this a couple times. I think you're really going to like this, and it is good all year long, and it lasts a few weeks. So let's go over the ingredient list, and we're going to make chicken liver pate. For this recipe, you'll need 1 stick of unsalted butter, 1 medium onion chopped, 3 cloves of garlic minced, 1 pound of chicken livers rinsed and drained, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh thyme, 2 tablespoons of capers, 1 splash of balsamic vinegar, 1/3 cup of cognac, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. Before we go to the stove, I wanted to talk about the chicken livers. You want to make sure they're deveined. If you get them fresh, you may have to devein them. But I got them frozen, and this is a little over a pound. It's like 1.25 pounds. They're already rinsed, drained, and deveined, and then I just cut off some excess pieces of fat. Okay, I've melted the butter in a nice big skillet, and now I'm going to add the onions and the garlic. And I'm going to just soften them until the onions get a little translucent before we add the other ingredients. Now I'm going to add the capers. Love capers. If you don't like them, see, you can not add them, but they really add a richness. Also, a little bit of cayenne, more if you like the heat. And I'm going to add the fresh thyme. So now that these have gotten together nicely, we are now going to add the chicken livers and spread them around the pan so they'll cook evenly on each side. And these cook pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of salt right directly to the livers and some fresh ground pepper. We'll add more later when we're in the food processor. All right, so look how beautiful our livers are. They're cooked through. You don't see any pink or red. And now we are going to add the cognac. Now I'm not sure if this is gonna flame. That would be really cool if it did. It didn't, but that's okay. So we add the cognac, and then just for a little bit of depth, I'm going to add a little bit, just a dash, little splash of balsamic vinegar. So I'm just gonna let this cook about 2 more minutes, and then we'll bring it over to the food processor. So the butter, the cognac, the onions, that whole sauce has thickened and everything is cooked through. So now we are just going to add this to our food processor with the blade attachment. And we'll now add a little more salt and pepper. We want about a teaspoon of the fresh ground, and then we want about 2 teaspoons of salt. I am using a sea salt, but you can use kosher, use regular table, it doesn't matter. Then we are going to put the lid on, and we are going to start running it. And then while it's running, I'll drizzle in the heavy cream. That's it. Can you believe how easy that is? All right, so I'll take this off. It's nice and smooth. It's still a little warm. So what I'm gonna do is I'll remove the blade. Now, you could put this in one big container, or I like to do it in little ramekins. That way, you don't pull it all out, let it get to room temperature. They stay cold, because this is good for a couple weeks. So that's it. You just put these in the ramekin. I'll get these sealed with some saran wrap, and then we'll taste the pate and see how you like it. I bought some of the cocktail pumpernickel, or you could toast a baguette, and I think a nice accompaniment is pickles. I wish I made some pickled red onion, because that's really good with this.
That's right.
But I got some pickled pepperoncini and some cornichons and stuff. So it's nice. It's just a lighter fare to go with this. Let's see. Cheers.
Cheers. It's
That
so
is
good.
delicious.
Delicious.
Champagne is always good.
Oh.
White wine, I think, is nice because it cuts through the flavors.
It does.
We're doing a nice Pinot Gris from La Crema.
Oh, it's delicious.
Delicious.
It is. It's so
Doesn't
good.
like it any better than this. This is like poor man's caviar, don't you think?
I don't like caviar.
I do. All right. Go to my website, caseylastjune.com, and look for my recipe for chicken liver pate. You will love it.
Casey, another good job.
Thanks, Mommy. Cheers.
Take off with the Casey Malone Show. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bernard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for 30 years, and my message has never changed. If you're involved in an automobile accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may encounter. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court. And remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at ElizabethBernardLaw.com.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Catullo, and I'm the owner of Catullo Prime Meats. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, that's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
My mom was always in my corner.
Always pushing me to do better.
I couldn't have asked for a better mother.
So when she needed assisted living,
I did my research.
Doctors, nurses,
and others with family and assisted living,
they all said,
trust the name you know.
Briarfield.
For assisted living with top healthcare experts, a caring staff, and a comfortable home-like setting.
Trust the name you know.
Briarfield.
Trust the name you know. Briarfield. Proudly serving the Valley for over 20 years.
Hi, I'm Bob Kamara. The time has come for me to step back and let my son Rob and daughter Brianna take ownership of Kamara Jewelers. We are celebrating my 41 years in the business with a huge retirement sale where store-wide discounts are up to 70% off. I want every piece sold. Nothing is held back.
Beautiful diamond jewelry, colored gemstones, and more. Largest selection of engagement rings. Up to 70% off Kamara Jewelers' huge retirement sale.
4 for $5 till 6. Happy hour at Sadie's Place inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austin Town.
At Rulli Brothers, the family is in the store. Meats, deli, produce, even the checkout. We work hard to ensure that you get the best products at a personal shopping experience. At Rulli Brothers Markets, our customers are our top priority. Our family is in the store.
Not much of a golfer, but today we're at Salem Hills Golf and Country Club with the general manager, Ben Broderick. Ben, you are also the golf pro out here.
Yes.
How do you get the designation to be a pro?
Well,
do you have to like work a circuit where you go and do certain tournaments or something?
Well, after I graduated from your alma mater, Ohio U,
Bobcat,
I didn't know what I was going to do, so I went in and do the PGA program, which you do is you have to pass a playing test, do some education, takes about 3 years, and this is where I am, yes.
And then you offer lessons?
Yep.
But now you really are wearing a couple hats because now you're basically running this place too.
Yep, last year I started leasing the course after the Bricker family bought it. We have a 5-year lease and it seems to be going pretty well.
Well, you know, it's a semi-private club, so it's open to the public.
Yep.
Anybody can walk in, but you still have memberships.
Yes, we have about 120 members. Basically, about 50% of our play comes from public, 50% comes from our members. But our members here do a tremendous job. As you look around with the flowers and stuff, we have like adopt-a-tee programs, member events. So there is some incentive to be a member.
When you took over, what improvements did you need to be made immediately with like the greens and with the holes in that?
Well, you know what, as you know, golf courses have been struggling over the years. They still are. It seems to be, it's leveled out. Last year, I know through the PGA, found out that play actually increased by 1% or 2%, which was the first time in like 15 years. But, it was the budget restraints for years, you couldn't put any money into it. And we have basically a 5-year plan where between equipment, sprinklers, fertilization, it just goes on that we need to get back to, putting stuff into it.
Because it looks beautiful. I couldn't tell if it was a good course, bad course, but I'm sure drainage, because we have so
all that
much rain
stuff.
here.
Yeah, we've had 8 inches the last 2 weeks.
They just let anybody here at Salem Hills, huh? We crashed in on this game with Ty and Brian and Ken. How you been, bud?
I told you I was here.
Andy and Bill. And, you guys play here an awful lot. What do you like about this place, Brian?
I just love the layout of it. It's a very nice layout. It's everything's real fair here, so I just enjoy playing out here.
Very challenging.
I know. I saw you went in the bunker there, Ty. Okay. And I know you guys come out here all the time. Why is it, Bill? Because you're actually a pretty good golfer.
At times. At times. But I come out here because of the layout, but because of Ben and his crew. I mean, they've always been professional. I've been out here about 6-7 years.
Well, hey, don't we have some tournament winners here? I mean, didn't you guys just win the Bubba?
Yeah.
You guys won the Bubba, right?
Not me.
No, but I know this foursome did, right?
That's right.
And that's a big deal.
Oh, the Bubba is a big deal out here.
More ways than one.
And that's how you know it's a nice club, when you have a thing called the Bubba.
Right.
Yeah, that's a club that does not take itself too seriously.
That's right.
And you like it out here, huh?
I love it out here. It's the only place where the pro lets you beat him.
I imagine the food and beverage side of this was something you really didn't want to deal with, but you still want to be able to offer food and drink, you know, to your golfers.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that?
Well, I dealt.
Because you're not a restaurant guy, are you?
I dealt with it very poorly in my first year. That's how I dealt with it. That's why I'm so thankful that David is here now. You know, they have their main restaurant there in Cornersburg. They now have the entire food and beverage facility, and it's been a major blessing for me. They do a great job. We get compliments on the food all the time, and you know, and like you said, they go hand in hand. You know, you don't want to go to a golf course and not be able to eat or drink or have a snack. So
this is open to the public all the time.
Yes, every aspect of the restaurant. We have a downstairs restaurant, an upstairs grill room, the patios.
And I really think, I mean, this is a very pleasant place to spend a day, an afternoon, even if you don't golf. And it's always really nice. And, you know, what is the key to keeping your customers and your golfers?
I think you have to appreciate every single person that walks through that door. We're lucky to have, I mean, it costs money, it takes up your time, and you have to treat them with the respect and make them feel like they're welcome and give them an overall good experience from the time they walk in to the time they walk out.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.